Hi, Emma. Thanks for the time today. Just now that these friendlies are here, once upon a time this was going to be a two-game series against China. It's now China and Japan.
Yeah.
When that happened, did that shift any prep for naming the roster, prepping for opponents, and what are maybe some of the opportunities that you're looking for this team to capitalize against China specifically?
No, I mean, the bottom line is it doesn't matter the opponent. It doesn't change our thinking. What I would say is that you've got different groups of players at different stages in their journey, at least under my stewardship. So you've got some that are accustomed to the ins and outs of what we're looking for, to some that have had exposures from January, so 2 or 3 camps, and then you've got some who maybe their first time. So there's quite a lot they have to pick up within that. So some, and we just had this really good game back at the hotel in and around sort of checking their understanding for things. What I would say is that we've got such a great group of senior players that really help facilitate that process. Well, that's the main thing. And our objectives haven't changed. We are to utilise this camp and the next camp as giving opportunities to players that have less experiences. And that's not all at once. Sometimes it will be coming from the bench. Some cases it's been to put them with the 23s. They play against Germany today to see that. So our objectives haven't changed. And tactically, yes, it's a different type of opponent. You're not playing Brazil, who are player for player, or Japan, who were more experienced than us. You know, China play a very organised 4-4-2 where we have to be dynamic in our rotations in a structured and organised way. So I think it's a much different test, and I think it will be the same for Jamaica.
Over here on the left and then on that.
Hi, Emma. About a year ago here, Lily made her national team debut and scored. I guess I was just curious, like, what have you seen from her over the past year, and just how have you seen her develop since that time last year?
I mean, I think, as I keep saying to everyone, she's 17. She's still, she's got a couple of years of experience as a professional. I think the next 2 years of development will be important for her. I think it's been an unbelievable development pathway for her to be at Ajax. That, for me, has been, I think, advanced her positional play in a way that I think makes her stand out beyond her years. She's physically developed in the last 12 months. Tactically, in possession, when she plays for a club team, they generally have the ball against sort of mid to low blocks. So I think she's developed that side of her play. And I think for us, playing against opponents like Brazil and Japan, extremely high-level games that will serve her well in the future. But as I always keep saying, she's got a lot of development to do, and I think it will be up and down. And I think they will see really good moments, and I think we'll see in different moments. I think it's what you can expect from a 17-year-old. But she's got unbelievable maturity and coachability, and someone who I know is going to become an important part of our programme, but I'm invested in that development, and we have to be patient with that, considering her tender age and her lack of international and high-level experience.
Hi, Emma. After the roster announcement, you mentioned wanting to put Giselle in without Trinity and Yasmin now. No Giselle. What do you want to see from this group of attackers that you have right now?
Well, again, from Michelle Cooper to Ali Sentner to Alyssa Thompson, Emma Sears, these are players that don't have a lot of experience at this level. So the only way you get that experience are these exposures. But we can't expect a finished product from any of them. I think there's still... I've said this quite a lot, and I've noticed this both at our level and at the league level. There's a really, really experienced group, and then there's first year and second year pros. And that's sort of, I feel like, in order to accelerate that, we're doing the right things, whether the exposures are there for the 23s or here, but there's no shortcut to it. You can't accelerate it either. When you enter major tournaments, in an ideal world, your team, each player has got exposures of above 30 caps in your ideal world scenario, and obviously that won't always be everyone. So if you think about our situation in goal, we've got players that have got less than, the vast majority of them, less than 5 caps. The players you've mentioned, less than 5 caps. So we have to invest in the next 2 years in trying to accelerate that, to reach that, what we call a threshold. And that's why what we are doing is not only intentional, but necessary, because that gap from that real experience group to this is something that hasn't been developed prior to me being here. And with the 23 program and what we are doing, gives us the opportunity to do that.
Boom, boom, boom. Let's go. Third row, second row, first row.
Hi, Emma. Thanks for your time. Lola Bont's story is pretty unique. What made you think this was the right moment for her? And how do you see her energy and leadership impacting a young team like this?
I mean, I think, first of all, Lo's situation should serve as a reminder to everyone that we watch every game and that we are invested in what you're doing day in, day out. I've already stated the reasons why I didn't take her to the Olympics in the 18. And for the reasons I've just mentioned, why we've had to accelerate the development of less experienced younger players. But age is just a number, and she's fit, she's healthy, she's someone who's always striving. And I've heard her speak a number of times, like her, not even her self-awareness, she's someone who's constantly sees that there's room for improvement in what she's doing. And I think if you take someone like Lily Johannes at 17 and Claire Hutton at 19, Sam Coffey at 25, 26, I don't want to age her too much, there's still a gap. And it's a way to close that. Because I think she could be a good role model for Lily and Claire, and someone that can add a little bit. Tactically, she's got to learn our way of playing. And that's why I say it does take a little bit of time, because what we require in our structure, particularly against these type of opponents, requires you to do specific things. So she's trained really well this week, and she's fit really well into the group, and she's got a great personality, brings a lot of great energy to the locker room.
Hey, Emma.
Hey.
Earlier this year, you said that you hoped by the end of June you would identify a core of players who could be kind of the main group from now through the end of 2027 World Cup. I'm just wondering how you feel that process is going, and if you feel like end of June is still a realistic target for that. Thanks.
Yeah, I think so. I feel we're very much on track for identifying that core group. You're seeing there's less and less changes to the roster, but I can only pick available players. I can't, people will often ask me, why isn't this player in? Well, a lot of the times they're unavailable. So it's important not to get too drawn in on the identifying 23 players. The pool has to be bigger because of injury, because of illness, because of pregnancy, because of whatever. That my job is to develop a larger group of players that by the time we reach tournament setting have been given the right exposures to put ourselves in the best position possible. So I think we're on track with that. And we also have the under-23 program. I've said this so many times. Think about Jaden Shaw, Corbin Albert, 20, 21 respectively, being accelerated from youth football to senior football without that step. Sometimes I think we expect so much from them, and they're still inexperienced players that maybe need a little bit more time in that age group category in the right moment. So I think we need to remain patient with the squad. I've seen so much development even this camp I always view things tactically, like how well are our players understanding what we're asking and how well are they applying them. And I think we mustn't get caught up on the results. I saw signs of good progress in the second game again last camp with Brazil. Yes, don't want to lose games like that, and you've got to close games out better. But better learn that now, in a certain way. And I think we're trending in the right direction.
Hi, Emma. Similarly, now that you've gotten through the first year where you've opened these development pathways that weren't really there before, how do you hope to just evolve the team and keep developing the player pool in the next years to come?
Well, I think it's fair to say one of the things we've done over the past 12 months is almost take WNT and YNT and put them together. I work closely with Tracy Kevins to identify the best route to the top for all of our players, and I think that's been one of our. There's been a lot of big work that's been going on behind the scenes that will, I think, provide that platform for years to come. And as I've said before, the first was levelling up the youth level, the youth national team programming and 23 programming. But we've also repositioned the under 23 programming, and in a way that it's not just a halfway house between 20s and the seniors, but actually, if we can identify playing, tier A opponents, that this is something necessary as opposed to, say, leaving players sat on the bench for 12, 18 months. So I think the levelling up of the programming, I think the WNT strategy in and around how we're positioning things through the female lens, and there's a huge amount of work that's going on in the background, developing insights that for years to come, I hope will influence everything from coach education to ensuring we've got female health insights in each and every one of our camps and longer term across the whole ecosystem. I can't believe I've only been here a year, to be honest with you. When I reflect on the work that's being done by so many people, it's so exciting to think, if I'm to fast forward to 2031, the work and the impact that everybody's having now for the future of the game, I think will leave the ecosystem, not in a healthy way. America's always produced players, but I think what we are putting together is a system so that there is, it goes beyond just a pipeline of players, that it's a support system around girls and women that I think will take our game up a notch.
And the 20s kick off in about 75 minutes. I'm going to 23s kick off a little bit after that. So a lot going on today. Any more questions in the room? We got a few more minutes. We can go back to Sandra. She made the trip.
I'm here. Emma, in reaching this milestone in 1 year, what would you say is the biggest thing that you have learned about yourself in this year-long journey with the team?
Oh, wow. I think the biggest thing I've learned is that you've got to maximise the moments you have with the players, because you have so few. And I've learned that it's not, there's multiple ways you can maximise that, and not just when you've only got 10-day camps and big chunks in between. Like, be innovative about how you can accelerate learning. I've always enjoyed innovating ways in doing that, but I definitely think maximising the moments is the thing I've learned the most. You cannot waste a single session, a single opportunity, because you have so few of them at international level. And surround yourself with amazing people. I said it to Denise this morning. I'm so blessed that not just at the leadership level, but the people we are putting into positions across WNT and YNT has made me more excited for a long time, because we're bringing so many different innovations into the women's game and the girls' game. Anything from mental skill development to female health, menstrual cycle support, whatever it might be. Like, so excited about it.